and welcome. It's yet another A Star to Steer Her By, your favorite Star Trek podcast. Obviously. We're on episode number, is it 280? Is that what we decided?
Yep.
Oh, it seems too large.
I'm pretty
so
sure
it
Numbers
sounded wrong.
just decided that.
Numbers decided that this is episode 280. Woo.
Woo!
As usual, you know it. This is Ames. That was deplorable.
Caitlin.
This is Jake.
This is Krish, but do I have an ulterior motive?
And Liz!
And Liz is here!
Liz!
It's a special day here on A Star to Steer Her By, doing more of The Voyager. We're wrapping up season 4 of The Voyager and looking into the next bit of episode season 5.
Ooh.
All of these are words coming out of my mouth.
I was gonna say, Ames,
Good
you're
job.
introducing like you're me. What's going
I'm
on?
doing great.
I'm doing my best Jake impression.
Your best is great.
Say fisting.
Alright, so we're going to start off with Hope and Fear. And then we're going to look at the episode Night. So, let's dive in. Season finale of season 4, Hope and Fear.
What?
Is
this
this
a
Love
sitcom?
and Marriage? But Hope and Fear?
that song you play on the piano.
Heart and soul?
That's
Hot
hard and
cross-
Hope and
soul.
Fear.
Hot cross buns.
Hope and fear. Fuck yourself.
Whoa, yeah, that's how it goes. That great old-timey song that
Hope
we
and
all
fear.
remember.
Go fuck
yourself.
Neat. So we start off, Hope and Fear. We're playing Velocity in the holodeck. Janeway is schooling Seven on how intuition sometimes works if you're a human, and you're going to be more human every day, Seven, so intuition's going to be fun for you. End of scene. Meanwhile, let's bounce out and check out, we have our new friend that Neelix brought on board, who we promised to give a lift. He's paying our Lyft app, apparently, to go over the next star system. This guy is Arturus. He apparently can know, every single language that exists by listening to, 5 words of it, which seems implausible to me, but we'll get back to it. And Janeway, who's been trying for 5 months now to decode that message. Remember the message from Hunters and Message in a Bottle that we got from that relay? They remembered it exists! Holy shit, I wasn't expecting it to come back. And Janeway is still failing at unencrypting it, and she asks Arturus, you're really good at spoken language. How are you at digital language? And deciphering codes, and just doing a whole Alan Turing thing. And he says, I'll try. And he does it, and he's like, here's your message, here's what it was, and it's some coordinates to somewhere over here in the Delta Quadrant. And they're like, let's go over there, but everyone, keep your eyes out for bullshit, because we don't know what the fuck is going on. And they go to the coordinates, and they find a shiny, shiny ship that we discussed in one of our blog activities, the USS Dauntless, and it's here in the Delta Quadrant, because it can use a quantum slipstream technology MacGuffin to get out here from the Alpha Quadrant in all of 3 months. And they're like, damn, that's pretty good. They hop on it. It automatically gives Tom a little test drive on its own, which was kind of creepy. And they're like, oh yeah, this thing goes super fast using the slipstream thing. Let's see if we can just move the technology to the Voyager, because we don't want to lose Voyager. Voyager's our home.
We love the Voyager.
It's so cute, like a little spoon with its flappy
And it's
sounds.
going wee as it flies through the air.
It really does. I hear it in the theme song. And they're not doing well with that, and they're still trying to learn about the tech on the Dauntless, but everyone's kind of expecting, this could be good. We're all ready to move over to the Dauntless once Janeway gives the final thumbs up, and we'll just take 3 months to get home, and we'll be done with all of Voyager. But Janeway figures some things out when she's continuing to look at that encoded message from Starfleet, because she won't give up on, the last 2 seconds of the message that Arturus has told us is fucking broken. But Janeway, after having a cute little conversation with Seven about how Seven doesn't want to come back to the Alpha Quadrant, and Janeway's like, that's because you're scared of people, and Seven's like, no, I'm not, shut up.
You're scared of...
But then, ding, the message has unencoded, and it's that Admiral dude whose name I didn't write down.
You
Hayes.
didn't write the ad...
Hayes, thank you. I don't know what happened.
I'm clutching my pearls.
He wasn't highlighted in Memory Alpha, so I didn't get him. he's saying, like, oh, yeah, sorry, there's nothing we can do, and, we don't have any ships called the Dauntless at all. Exactly 0 of those. Good luck. And Janeway says, I know what happened here. Everyone, Arturus is under arrest, but Arturus has figured this out because he's a fucking brain box. Commandeers the Dauntless. Everyone except Janeway and Seven beam away, and Arturus gives his tearful backstory of revenge that his people hadn't been assimilated by the Borg until Janeway allied with the Borg and stopped species 8472 from killing them. And Arturus blames Janeway specifically for his race getting assimilated after the fact, which Seven would know nothing about because she's left the Borg since then, so she didn't know. And Arturus is a dick, and he's like, we're going to take the Dauntless back to my planet, which is now Borg space. And we're all, including me, because fuck it, gonna get us our asses assimilated. Yeah! And Janeway and Seven break out of a brig, and they're like, haha, we're actually gonna try not to do that, because that would suck quite a lot. Voyager, meanwhile, has installed their own slipstream drive, which is barely working even at all. Torres is like piecing it together with chewing gum and packing tape.
Really MacGyver that shit.
She had to use all of her special engineering lab coat, and that's why we never see it again.
She used up the last of its power on this one last mission.
Yeah, and it flies into the slipstream just long enough to catch up to the Dauntless and beam Seven and Janeway away, as Janeway's like, well, sorry, Arturus. It was nice knowing you for a couple of minutes, and nope, now you're gonna get assimilated. We're sorry, bye. Spoilers, the slipstream we're never gonna hear from again because it's not actually compatible with Voyager and
we will
wouldn't
definitely
work.
hear from it again.
Damn it!
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's good then. Continuity! And then Janeway plays some more Velocity with Seven, and they're having a great time, and they're good. The end.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I feel like Arcturus kinda has a point, though.
I think he has the most legitimate point of recent antagonists.
Yeah, like, I feel like, yeah, your grievance is legit.
But is he just as bad for doing a whole want to revenge on these people?
Nah.
No.
We're talking about a whole species versus a boat full of dickheads.
Like, I mean, this is what I liked about the premise is that it's whenever these sorts of like major events happen and compromises whatever, you have these like episodes like what happened with species
8472?
Yeah.
3, 4, what is it?
It's 8575, I don't know, whatever.
24601.
They
90210.
like they're just sort of like, well, I've made a hard decision. We're going to end on a philosophical note. I'm going to look thoughtfully out into space as the credits roll, and then we don't hear about it again. This is a very real consequence of difficult diplomacy and hard decisions. Like Janeway was, the whole crew was faced with a real bad choice where there was no good outcome, like purely good outcome. The best outcome was we get these guys back to their their universe or whatever, and we get something out of the Borg, and then the Borg leave us alone and continue on their way.
We don't get eaten by species 8472.
Yeah.
For a little while at least.
Yeah. So when a war is going on, there are probably some other entities nearby who are at least have he said have some vested interest in it going on, because that kept the Borg occupied. Whether that would have eventually spilled out into their space on its own, that's entirely possible. Maybe species
8472.
would have come to attack them at some point. Who knows? Like they might have just been fucked either way. Yeah. But this was a direct consequence.
As far as I can tell, 8472 only ever wanted to kill Borg. I don't know if they ever attacked anyone non-Borg.
I don't think it was said that they did.
Yeah, I don't think it was said
but
either.
Who knew at
but
the time?
I have a sense that they, once the door was opened to the our galaxy,
the non-liquid galaxy,
that they were basically like just gonna come and take it over and fuck shit up.
Well, they did say they wanted to cleanse things,
yeah.
But then again, they may have, once they realized this was just the Borg being fuckers. No one else cares.
I mean, the question is,
maybe
would they
we'll
have?
leave. Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But that's why I'm not gonna completely condemn Arturus or Arcturus?
Arturus.
Arturus. Because, like, I'm like, yeah, I can see where he's coming from. Plus, you know, let's not forget, in the episode itself, even, Chakotay was like, yeah, it seems dumb and bad.
Yeah.
And he was blown off.
Chakotay wanted to mutiny so hard. The hardest he's ever wanted to mutiny.
He maybe kind of should have. Because, like, this
did when Janeway was out.
But see, that's not mutinying. He was in charge of the ship.
He mutinied against himself.
Sure. But either way, it's like I like to imagine that this episode was over. You know, there's just a long pause. He goes, "Don't say it." What? I would never say I told you so, Captain. Never. And then he skips away whistling that, like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I
Because it's naval.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I like to think this whole Artura situation is sort of one of the good reasons for the Prime Directive to exist. Because, you know, I know it's not technically probably a Prime Directive situation here, but in meddling in the affairs of the Borg and in Species 8472, which Voyager was not involved in, right? Like, they were not a party to that conflict. They came across Species 8472 by chance, but if they didn't, and then they involved themselves, basically, in the conflict. So, yeah, like, the Artura situation is like a downstream consequence of going out of your lane.
One of
trickle-down ckedenomics.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
And so not only do the Borg, you know, no longer have a predator, which is what 8472 kind of was, you know, now they also have even more sophisticated weapons that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to jump ahead, but what I found interesting this week was that, you know, this is the first time in a while from any Trek we haven't had like a two-parter kind of season finale, season premiere, and yet the thematic connections between both are really interesting.
They're both episodes that kind of look backwards and like find, you know, like they found in the fucking, I lost the word already, the encrypted message.
Yeah.
A thing that had been brought up before. They're like acknowledging like this is a show with an actual through line.
Yeah, but I had thoughts about, you know, the Prime Directive as it relates to the next one, which someone remind me when we get there. But yeah, I think it's funny because it's not brought up directly in either episode, but it looms large, I think, in both, in different ways.
It being the Prime Directive?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I also give them a little credit for not making this episode a two-parter with a cliffhanger between seasons, because I think it would have gotten way too thin if they stretched it out.
Like so many of their two-parters do, where you feel like you made this a two-parter because you wanted a two-parter.
Yep.
This one and done.
Yeah,
that's all it needed.
They asked the producers, can we just do a one-parter? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. We don't care.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised, because I feel like the producers just feel like that's just what you do now.
They want that cliffhanger. But, you know, honestly, I think this was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got Ray Wise.
Yeah, he was good.
Phenomenal actor and very good in this part.
I didn't recognize him right away because I'm used to him being made of teeth.
Yes.
For those at home, we previously saw him as a Mantakan and as a one of Red Foreman's henchmen in RoboCop.
Father!
Which ones are the Mentakans?
That was the one where Bobby Hill
Was a proto-Vulcan.
proto-Vulcan.
Who
watches the Watchers.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And he's
OG!
you just look at his photo, he's that guy. He's in fucking everything.
Yeah, and he usually plays, like, other than his Mentakan role, I feel like I mostly recognize him as, like, an antagonist.
Well, he's got that, like,
Asshole in a suit, sort of.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you feel like he gets stuck with that a lot just because he kind of looks the part. I'm sure he's been a gangster more than once. Sleazy businessman a bunch of times, probably.
Oh yeah, sleazy businessman. He's
I
like
he's played the devil
platonic
at least
ideal.
once.
I could picture him
That
as the
sounds
devil.
right, actually, though. I don't know why.
I'm trying to remember.
shit.
I feel like that's one of the things.
He was Commissioner Gordon in the terrible Killing Joke film.
No, he was.
How unfortunate for him.
But
He got money.
he did a great job on this show.
Oh, he was, I think, in Reaper, maybe?
Oh yeah, that's right. I recognize him as he would play
he was the devil.
in,
Okay.
in Reaper. You're right.
There's something else.
Which was not a bad show.
Never seen it, but I
It
feel
was
like I've heard
alright. It
decent
was alright
things.
for like a mid 2000s sci-fi type thing.
Yeah.
He was also in The Young and the Restless for a few years.
No, sure. But yeah, no, I
Who wasn't?
thought he was very good. He, especially when he had his old breakdown.
Ray Wise does a great job period. And also, like, they made his character, like, this kind of complex weird, because he's brilliant. Like I said, he apparently learns languages in 15 seconds by listening to you say a sentence. And how? Does that mean he knows our slang? Does that mean he knows when Jake is saying wrong words for things? What was the right words? God damn it, Arthur.
If we say fisting, does he not bleed? No, wait. I was actually really annoyed by this because...
Not as often as you'd think.
Yeah, I know. Because he's like, yes, of course I know your language. I was listening to your Neelix talk. And I was like, Neelix is not speaking English.
Yeah.
I was really annoyed by this.
I
don't
assumed,
usually get annoyed by
I
these
assumed he
minutiae.
understood Neelix's language.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I didn't think he understood English.
I think he
from
understood
talking to
English after coming aboard Voyager.
Yeah, we're talking to
don't know.
Tom. Tom
I don't know.
speaks.
He said I
English.
understood your language. I don't know.
Oh.
It seemed to me that the suggestion, you're going to hurt me, aren't you, cat? This cat's going to hurt me. But
You're
it's
still
fine.
petting him.
I
so.
know. I love him.
Speaking of slang, though, God, if he did learn...
hurt me.
If he did learn English from Tom, I think we're all lucky he didn't go, hang 10 good buddies or something and met them.
But yeah, no, I thought that was an interesting character choice. I also think that the one thing that kind of confused me about this is that he knows everything about what happened with the Voyager and the Borg.
The cat is the snuggliest.
I'm so happy.
Like, how did he get all of this information about, like, the alliance with the Borg, that Voyager was responsible for taking out 8472? Like, how did he know all that?
There's a grapevine in space.
Is
Everyone
there?
knows everything.
He subscribes to the newsletter,
They've
the
established-
Borg Weekly.
It was a couple seasons ago, there was somebody who oh yeah, we've heard of you.
Yeah,
Plus,
we'll
it sounds like
definitely-
he's maybe been stalking them, possibly?
Well, he's definitely. Well, because he basically set up this whole scenario.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, he's got some kind of cloaking technology they can't detect and has been just kind of trailing along.
I mean, obviously, they must have slipstream technology.
Yes, and some kind of crazy advanced something, because he sent him a particle something or other about the Dauntless. I mean, he built a whole ass starship,
Well, what's weird, though, is that he built the whole ass starship, but he didn't build, the computers to look like Starfleet computers.
That was
because
a lot.
they were just
He built them to look evil and then put a cover on
Yeah,
top.
they're like
Fucking
holograms.
ridiculous.
I mean, I the only justification I can have for that, aside from they wanted it to look evil when the turn happened, was that, it then became an interface he was familiar with. So you'd be like, yeah, I want this to mostly be useful for me.
Well, I was thinking it might actually have been one of his species ships
I
that
was
he,
thinking the same thing.
did up to make it... he, put new
Decals.
hull on it or something to make it look Starfleet.
He probably modified at least a bit, because it is a little... For all that the hull geometry is different, it's still...
It's still a saucer and a couple of nacelles.
Yeah.
But again, that could just be
That could be covered
a
up.
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A slipstream cover.
Hey. Yeah, it's actually very ridiculous, because this episode, it must have gotten written up for some magazine or book or something. Star Trek Action, it's called, with an exclamation point and all that. And this episode is, detailed furiously on Memory Alpha from whatever this magazine or book was, so that it's just got every fucking... changes from the original plot. It says what each original line for everything was supposed to be and how they changed. And one of the few details, because at some point I just started skimming this article because Jesus Christ, it was way too much. But one of the things that they mentioned was the designer of the Dauntless basically had to keep in mind it is a Star Trek or Starfleet looking ship that has to turn into an alien looking ship. So what he did was he made that stretchy, rounded bridge with all the stretched muslin panels so he could backlight them and change the colors.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's easier than using, building it out of wood and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it actually, aids in the transition effect.
It was a fun bridge.
Yeah, the bridge was cute. Their engineering section was interesting. I liked the platform.
Yeah.
The plasma balls and bubble lights.
Yeah, so that's the problem. The first thing I saw was the fucking, as I put it, the sharper image lightning ball.
Oh, no!
And that just was immediately just takes me out of it.
Yeah, every time they use
one of those
sharper
in
image
anything.
tech, well, even inside the bubble light tubes, there was
What is a bubble light tube?
You never seen bubble lights?
Is it like a lava
It's
lamp?
a
What the
Christmas.
hell are you
It's a
talking about?
Christmas ornament. It's like they're awesome. I used to have them when I was a kid. They're
My sister has inherited my parents, so we still have them.
I'm sure my parents might still have them in a box somewhere. But yeah, they're like little tubes of colored liquid that are on top of a light bulb, and the light bulb heats the colored liquid, and when it gets to a certain temperature, it boils.
Okay.
And
Well, that sounds safe.
They look like that.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
I have never seen
these.
these.
they're
things.
they're
really
cool.
pretty.
They're very
Really
pretty.
cool.
I've never even
They're
heard
a
of this.
bitch as the person who used to have to fix them to the Christmas tree.
Oh gosh.
In terms of balance and getting them
Oh, yeah,
around the
they're
branch,
heavy.
you have to, because the bottom they're heavy. Yeah, exactly. So they have a little clip on the bottom. You clip them so that they sit on top of the branch, and then you have to sort of keep them from just sort
Yeah.
of.
Oh, good. The boiling liquid is directly on top of the
Yeah,
tree branch.
of
I
course
think
not
this
that.
is
It's
great.
fine.
I think there's a reason
It's
they don't
heated by
make
the-
them anymore.
I feel like
Yeah.
actually,
Put it
I
on
think
my
you
table.
might actually.
No, they actually do make them now. They
Are
make them
they
again.
safer?
Well, they're probably
Because
safe.
my sister got a new string.
I don't
Yeah.
think they
We should
were
get some.
ever like unsafe. I think if I read once that like the way it works is it's just water, but it's held under a vacuum. It's under low pressure, so its
Oh.
boiling point is
Is
lower.
way low. Okay. In that case,
We should get some. That sounds really pretty
I
and
kind of
neat.
want some.
They're really cute.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
they're
can't.
very cool.
I just picture our cats murdering them so quickly.
I
but
can't remember
they-
what any
they
other
take a
cat
lot
is
to
like.
make it.
This is the
Look
only
at
cat.
him. He's
Like I literally can't believe this at all.
He is
How
in
did this
Bebe pose.
I don't know, but I'm not
face.
not moving
You're
at
full-
all. I have not moved.
This is like the Pietà.
Sure. Sounds delicious. Okay, so one bit of annoyance though I do have. Well, I have two bits of annoyance. One that is minor and one that I think is less minor. Minor one is, I will say, for all this episode is about calling back to an earlier event, it seems to ignore the fact that for a few episodes anyway, Seven was working on trying to decode this.
I thought the same thing.
and
yeah.
Janeway was like, maybe she'll have some Borg algorithms. It's like, she already tried.
She's the only one we've seen working on this in the last most of this season.
And suddenly Janeway's been at it for months too, and it's like, what?
It must have been intended for an earlier in season.
Yeah,
Air.
something.
or maybe Janeway had just been working on her spare time. You know?
Yeah.
I just think the writers forgot about that
Probably,
and did
yeah.
not expect for it to come back up, which is why I do give them credit for bringing it back up. And this is where I'll tell you, like, all of the original ideas, because boy, was there a story here, because, you know, they knew season finale, we've got to do something good, or at least interesting. They wanted to do the idea with the doppelgangers that we saw the other week in Demon. They wanted those guys, but they didn't work out, and they said, we'll do something else with them another time. And then they used them in Demon anyway. Shrug. So anyway, original idea for this. The Starfleet message, Janeway decodes. No Arturus at all. Check. And it teaches the crew how to make their own slipstream instead of giving them the Dauntless. And they go ahead and they enter the intergalactic highway of all these super advanced ships, and all these ships on the intergalactic highway are so advanced that they look like a buggy and horse by comparison. And then it's like, what exactly is the tension going to be here? And the writers didn't fucking know. They had two options. They had one.
They got into gridlock. Intergalactic superhighway.
Everyone behind them
Somebody
beeping
got
the horn.
starroed on the intergalactic highway.
Also, I'm just picturing the scene in Finding Nemo when they're like on the slipstream with the turtles.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Ooh.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so the two options for how to do anything with this idea of the slipstream. Either they're on the slipstream and they're like, yeah, we'll get home in only a couple of months and this will be great, except that because of Seven's Borg technology, she's like wasting away, and they're like, okay, we can't do this because it will hurt Seven, and for the good of the one, Janeway says we're not going to use the slipstream because it hurts Seven. Which is a little, they said it was a little too similar to one, so they didn't do that. The other option is they do get into another battle with a ship in the slipstream. That the people on that ship abandon ship. Seven takes it over and is like, hey everyone on the Voyager, come over here, we'll go home on this ship. Pirate industry. And Janeway's like, Seven, stop that. We're not doing whatever it is you're saying. We're doing it the normal way on the Voyager.
Take off that eye patch.
Yo ho ho, individualism, bitch.
The eye patch would lock very neatly onto her.
Right?
Her
It's just one of those
cortical-
magnet ones that just go
click.
It'll look
Yeah.
good. But then something would go wrong. They never quite finished going down this route, and they just realized somehow Seven's gonna get foiled, and Janeway will save her because that's what she does, and they'll go back on the Voyager.
Sure.
So those are their original ideas.
Dumb. Very dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something in there in the superhighway idea, just the idea that, like, there's all these civilizations that are far more advanced than anything we've seen.
And just ignoring everyone else.
Yeah, and they're just doing their thing.
That's cool.
And then, like...
Got their own prime directive.
Yeah, they got their own prime directive.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
ignore
totally
you.
ignoring, people that live in the corporeal realm. Or
That's
whatever.
actually where the Iconians have been this whole time. They didn't die out. They were just like,
Yeah.
fuck this.
Well, it'd be interesting. I think there's an interesting missed opportunity to tell a story about whatever civilization built the relay network to begin with.
Ooh, that I want to hear.
Maybe Prodigy can cover that.
I'm sure it's in a book. Like
Reading
eight
Rainbow.
books.
Beat me to
I
it.
said that earlier during the episode,
Rainbow.
didn't I? Didn't I say something like, "Oh, like it's in a book"? I feel like I said
I think
something
you
while
might
we were. Don't. Oh God.
He's so snuggly, but he's inches from turning on you.
I know.
He's gonna put his paw over his eyes. Such a precious little murder machine.
Okay, other thing that kind of bugged me, though.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Janeway is the worst counselor.
Go on.
Like, Seven's still kind of in a weird place emotionally. Shouting at her isn't gonna help.
Which scene are you referring to?
When she's like
Oh,
berating her for being afraid. It's like, that's not how this works. You're a bad mother.
Also, her being like, "Stop being a bad sport, bitch! I beat you."
That was good. That I liked.
I also wonder if that's the type of counseling that Seven would respond to versus like knowing Seven and knowing her personality. I don't know if she would take the kind and gentle approach.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm just like, you still don't get that you're trying to deprogram a cult victim, and you're expecting this to resolve itself way too handily.
You know what it is? I feel like trying to play back what I remember of it in my head. If you switch the genders, if you make the conversation between two men, I feel like this is a scene we've seen before. This sort of like, you have to face your fears.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to.
Nut up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, pussy.
But that's toxic too.
Of
Yeah.
course it is.
So I think it's just a jarring effect that this is the kind of scene we're used to writing for this kind of story arc between these two characters. Except this time, for once, it's two women. It just doesn't happen because patriarchy or whatever. So now, this is the sort of awkward growth spurt
Yeah.
of we made some progress in one aspect in the scene. The other aspect is they're still working on, and that's the
It's
actual
also-
nature of the interaction.
It's also because literally no one on any Star Trek writing staff has ever understood good therapy. All their therapy is written so badly. Like, these are things clearly written by people who've never been to therapy. Or if they have, rejected it after 2 meetings and screamed, "I'm fine," when they weren't.
Their understanding of therapy is Frasier.
Yeah. Frasier might have done a better fucking job.
Yeah, Frasier didn't do much yelling or berating.
Well, his brother and his father, but you're right, not his patients.
And the dog. Damn that dog.
Fucking dog.
It's actually going to be such a shame, too, looking at this from, the Seven and Janeway are good, solid female characters, frequently written by female writers, because they had Jerry Taylor and Lisa Klink as two of the top-level writers on the team. Both of them leave after this episode.
Oops.
What?
Yeah, Jerry Taylor, this is the last episode Taylor touched in any way. And then she left, supposedly to be with her, to do more with her family or
Oh my
something.
God.
Yeah, it sounds like she got Bermaned out of there.
Possibly. And Klink says she left because they didn't give her a chance to do more with the female characters.
I believe that.
That tracks.
Oof.
Though being fair, Klink's track record isn't always perfect. I remember there was an episode where I was like, God, a man had to have written this one. And you were like, nope, Lisa
Elogium.
Klink.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, no, whenever someone, be it politics or entertainment or whatever, spend more time with my family has never been true. Ever, I think. Maybe the first time somebody said it.
Yeah.
Elogium was a good comeback story, though, wasn't it?
What was?
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck, Jake.
I don't remember.
It's because, Elogium is one where Kes goes into heat, and her back is where the baby goes, and
Gross.
it's a...
Oh, come back.
Come back.
Gross.
Good. We traveled there with Jake. Thank you, Jake.
This was such
I brought you all down to
this
my
was such
level
a
now.
semi-classy episode.
Oh, God. All right, anywho. Yeah.
So wait, are we going to see any other women? Like, are there any other women left on the staff after those two leave?
I don't know if there are any on the staff. I know they're going to after this, they bring in... Oh, fuck, we just talked about him. The guy who did Pushing Daisies.
Brian
Fuller.
Brian Fuller.
They bring in Brian Fuller next season, and they bring in a couple of the DS9 writers.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get more to do, but I can't think of any other main women writers on the staff. Possibly like some, guest writers, people who pitch stories and shit. Sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it goes, really, because this is right about where I stop. Like, sometime in the middle of Season 5 is when I stopped watching, so we're getting into completely unknown territory.
I mean, there's a lot of strong stuff to come, just in terms of good episodes, but...
Yeah, some of my favorite episodes are still coming out.
And they do a ton with Janeway and Seven. Like, they kind of become the stars.
Oh, well, you know that Rick Colby, who's one of their frequent directors, dating Kate Mulgrew, and Brandon Braga, the series lead writer, dating Jerry Ryan.
Yeah.
Awkward.
So it really kind of does become like the Seven and Janeway show with guest star the Doctor.
I feel like that's kind of why I stopped watching.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good stuff, and it'd be interesting seeing it through the lens of, they just don't have any female writers anymore, like how well it actually is, or if it's just rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
like rose-tinted
What did-
asses, am I right?
Speaking of, what did you guys think of Velocity, the sport?
It looked like
Fine. Tron with
laser
phasers.
tag.
It reminded me
Frisbee
a lot of
tennis.
the game
tennis, yeah.
that Picard and
Guinan.
Like kind of a target practicey, but
Yeah.
with
But
dynamic.
also it attacks you, yeah.
I thought it looked like air hockey, but you're the paddle.
I think it would be a fun VR game. Somebody
It
should,
did
look
should
fun.
make that for VR.
Can you
I
dress
think
up
that's-
in the little outfit?
That's Discs of Tron, I think.
I think Jake
Yeah.
would look great in that outfit.
The 7 outfit?
Yeah,
That was a great outfit.
it would really
For just
emphasize your curves.
another cat suit, I liked it.
It was weird though, like the under boob
The reflective
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
tape that was like just like contoured the boobs. It was a little like
Maybe there was support in there.
maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No, what it was is they saw the drawing of the all-dark version, and Berman went, "It doesn't emphasize her tits enough. I'm Rick Berman, and I'm a monster." Allegedly.
Why does he always say he's a monster?
Allegedly.
You'd think that they'd stop hiring him.
Chris has feelings.
Anything else on this one?
Let
Or?
me check. Oh, I thought that traveling through the slipstream looked like a magic school bus going through the intestines.
Yes. Fair.
I thought so. I've always had a fuzzy idea of warp drive and the actual speed it can, like the distance, the scale of travel.
Oh boy.
And, like,
Good luck.
in the
So
scope
did
of time.
the writers.
Yeah.
Right. So something that stood out to me in this case was when they accidentally tripped the slipstream drive and they've traveled 15 light years in like a minute. Then it then says that Voyager, I think it like took like 2 days to catch up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
high
yeah.
warp, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like, oh, I actually have some idea of the amount of time that has passed in their travel,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, or is this like a nonstop flight to New Delhi from New York, or is this like days of travel at sea? In this case, this was actually like stated. It was nice. It helped.
That's
Yeah.
good.
It was funny because they say, "Oh my God, we've gone 300,000 light years." Or Kate goes, "Is that a lot?" And I went, "I don't know." I mean, it is, but 15 light years. But it's like it is, but it's like I don't know if it is to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was what originally it was like 70,000 light years total that they had to cover.
Something like that.
Something like that. Something that would take over
And I
7
think
years.
at the beginning of the episode, when they first got the coordinates, and like, oh, okay, we're gonna go to those coordinates, and find, and they found the ship.
They said they were
It
like
was
10 light years away.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea how long did that take them. A couple hours?
Apparently, about a day and a half.
Apparently so.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about this episode is that because they have the slipstream and they have to chase Arcturus back
Back
towards
the other way.
Borg space, they basically probably end up retracing most of the distance that they made this season.
Yeah.
in reverse and then having to go forward again. So,
But though they did say that they were still in the slipstream to get back.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah. It ended up being kind of a wash. Although it sounded like they made it. They
a little extra.
You got a little extra.
Right, because they were in it for a couple hours before something.
Yeah.
I at least appreciate that they're like, yeah, no, that we can't do this because it would tear the ship apart. Which I'm like, you know, I'll buy that because this ship isn't made for that.
Did we get into that with the Defiant?
Well, yeah.
Well, that was
They were
because of
retrofitting.
that was
Too
power
powerful.
issues. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was slightly different. That was less a structural
But, like-
integrity thing and more a overpowered thing.
But you know, like Seven at one point during the episode says that the slipstream is very similar to what the Borg, whatever the fuck they use,
Transwarp conduits.
Conduit. So I mean, Borg ships don't look particularly aerodynamic. So
Well, it's not about aerodynamics.
well, we don't know what it is.
Thing.
Like,
Well, like, there's no air, so
well, there's some why did the Dauntless look so arrowhead like?
the guy wanted to make something that looked like Starfleet but fancy.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It does feel like what they would
More
do.
advanced Starfleet ship.
So briefly then, figure before we transition, spoilers ahead for Prodigy. So skip ahead if you haven't watched it yet.
By the time this airs, we'll probably be in the next couple of new episodes, which I'm excited
You haven't
about.
seen Prodigy yet?
I haven't watched Prodigy yet.
I don't think
Fucking hell.
I don't think this is a big spoiler.
I'll live.
Yeah, we see this again.
Oh.
And
There's your spoiler. That's it.
What?
it's interesting though, because one thing I'd forgotten about was the fact that the slipstream apparently involves the magic of the deflector array.
Sure.
And
that's
you know,
right.
I remember a few weeks ago when we were talking about the ships, I had forgotten this, and I was referencing the remark on the fact that it's got a weird multi-stripe deflector instead of a dish or a saucer or lighting that we're normally seeing. And I wonder how that links into the fact that Prodigy also has like a strip deflector instead of a dish or a saucer or whatever. And I know it's using yet another potential drive, but I kind of wonder if there's meant to be some sort of thing there, like all these advanced drives involve the deflector array in some way.
Nothing but Riker's sex drive
Well, yeah,
powering the ship.
You know,
That's
I
too
imagine
powerful.
so like the deflector's nominal purpose is to
Deflecting
deflect
shit.
bits of space debris so they don't rip holes in your ship.
Yeah.
So I imagine it can also be used to project the slipstream, right?
Yeah, but that's what I kind of like clearly with this drive, it's more directly involved.
Yeah.
Like with warp, it's a necessity because it's got to get shit out of your way, but it doesn't feel like it's quite as involved in, say, generating the warp field or anything like that. Whereas with this, it's actually actively involved in the actual process of propulsion. I kind of wonder if that's part of the reason for the different kind of array than what we're used to seeing.
I do like how at the end of this episode, Seven's like, yeah, I'm going to keep looking into this shit. Because it's even if it takes you 69 years, if it takes you 69 years and 9 months to figure out how to make this work, it'll still be worth it, right? Because if it can get
Take
you
a couple
home
months.
in 3 months, it's worth it to keep looking into this. Like that's the thing that, there's been many opportunities where it's like, okay, we've just abandoned looking into this potential technology that could really help us get home, but we have fucking 70 years to figure this shit out.
Nothing but time.
And who knows, maybe you get home and Starfleet still hasn't stumbled across that itself, and they get to futz with it now.
One of the advantages that Voyager has being in this situation is that they are going to be able to pick up technology that nobody from the Alpha Quadrant has seen.
Yeah.
And, this is one of them.
What did you do?
You must smell.
There's,
or
some
something.
kind
You
of
must have
pheromone.
you must have like a smell of your cats on you or something.
I put on perfume before I came, but it's
maybe,
like some
maybe.
Bath and Body Works
Maybe.
shit. I don't know why he's loving it so much. I mean, I'll take it. I'm gonna
Snuggled
be
in
wearing
like
this.
a baby squirrel.
I'll be wearing this shit every time I come over from now on.
So yeah, I guess we've exhausted that one because Ames has switched to another card.
New card! Time to talk about Night. Welcome to Season 5, bitches.
Whoa.
We're here in Season 5. We start things off in the Void. Holy shit. What a way to start a season in the fucking dismal blackness of despair. Boy, did this episode remind me of early quarantine and COVID. Holy Christ. So, we're here and there's no starlight and it's going to be for the next 2 freaking years that Voyager has to go through this area with no starlight, with no other planets around, just fucking desolation, nothing to do. They have to make sure, they have enough power because there's nowhere to stop for more power. So, good luck, everyone.
Damn.
And everyone's trying to stave off insanity. Tom is playing his new VR game, Captain Proton and Satan's Robot, which is fucking adorable.
That's great.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna see more of it, and I'm excited. Harry's writing new clarinet sonatas or something. Tuvok's occasionally doing some
Meditating in the astrometrics.
Exactly, that's the one, because that's the only place you can see stars, and they're fake. Let's see, Neelix is having a full-blown existential crisis, as he's been doing quite a lot lately.
So much.
It turns out he has nihilophobia with a fear of nothingness. I don't blame him.
I was gonna say, who fucking doesn't, though? Like, who... Ooh, sorry, bud. Who... Oh, there it is.
Jesus Christ.
I told you I was waiting for it. I knew it would come eventually.
Cat turns on a dime.
Wow.
Nihilophobia.
Yeah, I mean, who among us could say that when, faced with literal nothingness for
2
light
years.
Yeah, I feel like even I would have trouble with that.
But, okay, here's what I don't get. Why don't they just put, holographic star projections in all the fucking windows? Don't you feel like that would be real easy for them to do, though?
There's still nothing to do, though.
Well, yeah,
They're just
sure.
looking at it.
But I mean, that might offer some little...
Yeah. But anyway,
comfort.
that's for after the
I
summer.
know. I
So,
know.
and the other thing is, Chakotay is trying to keep everyone doing their jobs and not going fucking nuts because Janeway has been having a 2-month-long sulk in her quarters because the nothingness has, haunted her memories, and she's saying, all of this is my fault for everything that happened in Caretaker. Everyone remembers that episode. In which I stranded us in the Delta Quadrant instead of fucking over the Ocampa. More on that later. No one listened to me. I'm going to stay in my quarters for the next 2 years, evidently. Good luck, Chakotay. Have fun with the ship. This goes on for quite a while of just kind of going along and along and along until suddenly, out of nowhere, there's lots of radiation, which is not fun for everybody, and all the lights all of a sudden go out. So Tom's in the holodeck with Seven in the dark. Nice. Everyone's the darkness is enveloping everyone. Neelix is having a panic attack. Holy shit. They finally, using little wrist-mounted flashlights, which were pretty sweet, they find a couple of aliens who live in this space. And they run around and attack people and then flee and all this stuff. And we figure out we've got one captured and they have ships outside the Voyager. And we're afraid, oh god, they're gonna get us or something. They've drained our power, all this thing. When suddenly, our hero of the episode, Empk, who's a Malon pilot of a waste hauler, he comes in, he shoots these alien ships away. They beam aboard all their non-injured aliens and they fly off. And Empk tells us, hey, what's a nice ship like you doing in a horrible wasteland like this? Do you want me to show you a vortex to get the fuck out of here? You'll be out of this space and not have to cross all of it. And Janeway's like, I want that, but last time something looked this gift horse, I had to look at its mouth. So we actually go check with that injured night alien, is what the internet calls them, and said, okay, well, we just talked with Emp. What can you tell us about this whole situation? And the night alien says, those assholes have been poisoning us with their radiation. Our entire species, who used to live in this void and be fucking happy, are dying of radiation poisoning because the Malon dump all of their toxic refuse in our space, and they give zero fucks. And Janeway says, I don't like this either. What if we try to save these night aliens and they'll be our new friends and the Malon are actually bad dudes? So they try to convince Empk, the Malon, how about we show you how not to create all this toxic waste so that you can stop dumping it on these guys who are just nice. And Empk says, that would be a great idea. That would revolutionize our people. That would be great, but I'd be out of a job. Wow, the parallels to the coal industry. Neat.
Subtle.
Very. I don't want to do that. So fuck you. Either leave through this vortex or stay here and die with them. Whatever. I'm not doing the thing you requested. And Janeway says, fuck, okay. I want to help the aliens. Like I did with the Ocampa. Oh my god, it's all coming back to me now. What I should do is help our people get through this void, but I should sacrifice myself. I'll not blow up the Voyager for a change. I'll just blow up this vortex on my own and strand myself here, and maybe I'll be the new friend of all the night aliens. It'll be fine.
She will become their, what is it? Queen, dark and glorious or something.
Both dark and beautiful.
Thank you.
All will love me in despair.
And despair.
What is this from?
Lord of the Rings.
Sure, I believe you. And everyone on the bridge is like, no, Janeway, we're not doing this thing you just ordered us to do. And it's the cutest little mutiny. It's the sweetest mutiny I've ever seen, where they all just say, Janeway, we're not going to strand you in the fucking wasteland of darkness just because you're feeling bad for creating the show Voyager. How about we just blow it up on our way out? She says, okay, let's do that. That's the easiest fucking option yet.
Sounds way better.
And they do that, and the night aliens help, and they blow up that fucking asshole Emp. So long, dick ass. I don't know where they're gonna dump their toxic waste now. Good luck!
I mean, they might follow through, find the homeworld, and be like, here's a scrubber, you idiots.
Yeah, but I don't think they will. They get to... Actually, no, we see the Malon in the future, so we'll see.
Oh.
They get to the other side of the vortex, and oh, look, the stars are back out. We're in this beautiful area full of colors, and everyone's happy again. Let's go, season 5.
Okay, mostly liked this episode.
Ditto.
But why did the lights go off on Captain Proton's ship?
I
What
thought
the
the same thing.
fuck? If the holodeck is so stupid, I hated it. Otherwise, enjoyed the episode, but that was such a fucking
Yeah, I was definitely concerned. I was like, why are they still in black and white?
Yeah, why are they still on the set in the Captain Proton set and not just the
they said that the hologrid was still active.
That's right.
Right,
but the program was
the lights went down.
But the program should still be... Like, the light should still be on in the program, because...
Yes, that part didn't make a lot of sense.
At all. That one thing, I was like, are you fucking joking? Aside from that...
Yeah. Another good, look back on where we've been.
Yeah.
Now, my impression was that Emk was... not the void was his little secret.
Yeah, that was not clear at first, but he did say at one point that he'd cornered, he was saving a ton of money because only he knew about this.
Everybody else has to
thing.
follow the FDA regulations, but I just dump it all in this pit.
Into the sewers.
Yeah.
Could picture Bender laughing over the
Yeah, no, that is what this is.
manhole covers.
Yeah, exactly. With the killing the pudding aliens. Looked like they were made of pudding.
I kind of did, yeah. But really not nice pudding. More like an aspic or something.
No, they were made of the skins.
Oh.
Pudding skins?
Gross.
But yeah, so this I said earlier, kind of made me think of, past instances throughout Trek of the Prime Directive and how, it feels like, they're very much getting involved here in a big way. Like they did in Caretaker, really. Although Caretaker was older because they were sucked into the situation, quite literally. But it's
but they chose not to let the Ocampa die.
Yeah, but this again, sort of. I feel like I complained about this once before back in the day, but it does sometimes feel like the Prime Directive on the one hand is yes, let's not interfere and let's not, but sometimes it also just feels like a get out of hard decisions free card. It's ooh, this is morally objectionable. Prime Directive. But in this case, they were this is morally objectionable, and you know what? We're getting involved.
This is morally objectionable if we don't do anything.
Right, but I feel like in the past, they've definitely been... it's hard to... Of course, can't think of anything specific right now, but I feel like there have been times where it's just yeah, like you said, it's morally objectionable to not get involved, but they're just oh, we're going to hide behind the Prime Directive.
Symbiosis, something. I'm sure there's something in there.
Yeah,
that was a really Prime Directive heavy episode.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that's why I felt like it was hovering there. I was waiting for somebody to bring it up, and no one did. And I'm well, it's nice you're not trying to hide behind it for once.
Yeah. I mean, especially makes sense here because, I guess not necessarily. There isn't a clear difference in technology between the Malon and the Night Aliens.
Yeah, no, if anything, Night Aliens, their dampening system seems pretty
sophisticated.
I feel like everyone's kind of on par here. But yeah, and also, again, even though this wasn't officially a two-parter, I feel like thematically, they only explicitly state that she's kind of thinking about the Ocampa situation and feeling bad about that, but it still feels like it could have also been somewhat... we don't know how long it took them to get to the Void after the last episode, but let's assume not very long, and part of it also might be, the stuff Arcturus said to her kind of also weighing on her mind,
Oh, for sure.
I feel like it works together really nicely. Just I feel like that could also be part of it. She's just oh God, what have I been doing?
Yeah, I actually thought that this episode could have been a two-parter, or not this episode, just this story.
Have a little Void story.
I would have liked some more time in the Void because it seems very interesting. We didn't get a lot with the Void aliens.
We jump in and it's already been 2 months.
Voidsters.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake.
You know, I would have been more interested. I don't know. I just feel like the episode, like, it felt like 2 episodes. Like, the first half felt kind of like a horror thriller type thing happening, and the second half just felt like a standard Star Trek,
morality tale.
help the aliens story.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been stretched a little longer to give more breathing room to some of this stuff. I felt like the resolution came very quickly at the end.
Yeah, I guess I feel like you're right, but also I kind of wonder if they could have stuck the landing.
What is your story if it's just about Nilophobia?
I don't know, or like maybe they get hunted, or maybe there's more conflict with the
night aliens?
with the night aliens
before we learn their side of the story.
Yeah, before we get that, before we have a common ground.
Well, so while I was watching it, I was particularly interested. Like, I was hoping for more of what the first half of the episode was doing, and I started to just poke around, like you do for fun in PubMed and medical publications about the effects of open ocean crossings on sailors.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I mean, there are definitely because that's basically what's happening here. They're crossing the open ocean, but it's space, and so there's just nothingness there. Which is you're crossing the open ocean. There's nothing but blue in all directions. At least when you're crossing the ocean on Earth, you have the sun that's helping you out, and you have stars. You actually have stars.
Yep.
They have nothing.
They have sensors.
Yeah,
which are boring.
As I said, if it weren't for the sensors, we wouldn't even know we were in warp.
It was a good line. Good reminder line.
Yeah, that was a nice little... I thought that was a nice little touch. But, so, where I first dove in was crossing the doldrums in the Age of Sail, which is, where trade winds cross and you can end up being becalmed at sea and there's no wind and you're stuck out there. And then there's, back then there was a really high risk of scurvy, because you just run out of food. But just in general, even in modern day, there's still, there's the feelings of isolation, there's the feelings of being trapped. Whatever the weather changes are, you're stuck where you are. The environment is the same. It's unchanging. You're stuck with the same people. Cabin fever kicks in. You might start getting aggressive. You might start getting angry.
You might have a delightful song and dance number with Tim Curry.
You might have Muppets. You might have an outbreak of Muppets.
There's still cabin fever.
There's still strict rationing, in play. I read about some incident, I think in coming out of Vancouver, the port of Vancouver, where I think the ship's cook and some other crew member had started attacking other crewmates because it was just the psychological side effects.
Well, the cook, of course, was seeing everyone as big cartoon turkey legs.
Yum.
Yes,
delicious.
absolutely. Other side effects: depression, loss of appetite, sleeping problems. Your circadian rhythm can be disrupted. The stress of the uncertainty of things, because even with modern technology crossing the open ocean, you don't know what could come up, and there's no help for miles.
Yeah, wasn't it this episode where a lot of the characters were hanging out in mess hall at 3 a.m. and they're we don't know what time it is anymore.
Exactly.
I'll admit that was all something. I was like, guys, you don't have a sunrise and a sunset regardless of where in space you are, so that was a little weird.
The ship is really setting it, yeah.
But there's got to be some psychological component.
Oh,
There's
sure,
the knowledge that we're completely alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that somewhere nearby there's going to be some planet or other, some port where we're pulling. And here it's the knowledge that there is absolutely nothing. So, I mean, hallucinations, that's another thing that kicks in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's when I got to learn about, what's it called? Something Morgana. Fata Morgana. Horizon hallucinations.
Ooh.
Which is where the ship, the Flying Dutchman, purportedly comes out of.
Oh.
Because the way sunlight will reflect, it has to hit the right temperature on the water, so there's basically multiplied reflections across pressure systems or something, and it looks like there's a wall or a ship or something on the horizon. And I was like, well, this is all... They could have pulled something from out of here to have something interesting. A hallucination or the possibility of something, But then again, it would have been another do we detour or not plot, so maybe not.
I think, on the one hand, I kind of appreciate that we didn't spend too much time here, just because part of me is wait, so these night dudes, do they have a world? How is it sustained? There's many stars.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful we don't know. There are so many, so often we have issues just over-explaining stuff, and the explanations are either dumb or unsatisfying or whatever.
Yeah, I like assuming they just live on those ships.
Yeah, but where did they, like, how did they, like, where, you know, you're not, like,
Evolution
need
takes
matter
a
for
long
the
time.
they had to have been somewhere originally at some point. Maybe they're from outside Void, who knows? They've been there for millions of years, this guy says. And,
Yeah.
but again, I like not knowing.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate that it's like they're just a fucking mystery. Maybe Cthulhu put them there because he was bored.
Maybe they had a thriving civilization and they built some kind of technology that destroyed all of the stars around their planets.
I like that.
And now they're stuck now they're stuck living in the wreckage of their society.
Yeah. See, it's fun.
Explosion or something.
Yeah.
It's fun to speculate, and I like not knowing.
I like Omega. I'm gonna blame Omega.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, but that would have fucked up Warp.
That's true.
Warp is working, so it can't have... Because I was about to say, the Omega... No, wait. So maybe it was its cousin, the pi particle. I don't know what comes before Omega in Greek.
Alpha?
No, Alpha's the first letter.
What's the next to last letter in the Greek alphabet?
Epsilon? Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so one thing I actually thought was very interesting about this episode, because the look of it had to be very different because it's in the fucking darkness. So the Viz team basically had to say, here's Voyager, but we have to act like it's only lit by its own lights.
Yes.
Which
It
was a
looked cool.
nice effect. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I don't feel like, just throughout Trek in general, we unfortunately don't get enough fun self-lighting moments like that. You know, and like a lot of it should be, you know, because even when there's stars around, they're still quite far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the truth, right? Is that in reality, unless they were in a star system, there would be no external illumination. The ship would be basically pitch black except the windows.
Yeah, and again, even when they're in a system, it should be coming from one very specific direction. Maybe some reflected vaguely off planets and satellites and stuff, but whatever.
I think there's actually a term for it in, filmmaking about, the idea that no matter where you are in space, there's always some, bright global light source nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was kind of like, in the running gag kind of with, or the sort of the thing you just kind of don't acknowledge with Spider-Man is, there's just always a taller building for him to somehow latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He could have jumped off the highest building in New York, but somehow he goes in a different direction and latches onto something.
Yeah.
The gag has been that there's just always helicopters just out of view that he's grabbing.
Yes, good.
Well, now's the 22nd century. 21st century. Wow. I don't know what's wrong with my brain.
Drones.
I was going to crack a joke about drones. Yeah.
Good joke.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm
Spidey boy.
doing great.
You are doing great. It was a good joke, Liz.
No, I missed that. It's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it did look very cool. And
Yeah.
again, it just kind of makes you wish they did stuff like that more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Night Aliens ship all looked kind of cool too. They looked a little almost like bioluminescent-y a little bit.
Which would make
Yeah.
sense.
Which makes sense, exactly, yeah.
Fun design,
even their
too.
makeup. It's like, these
Yeah.
are people who live in darkness. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Or as I put in my notes, attack of the glitter suit.
For a split second, so we got a better look at them, it was like, oh, it's like a sort of a reddish version of the thing Geordi turned into that time.
Oh.
Yay!
But then you get a better look at them, they're actually pudding monsters.
Yeah.
Very handsome race.
Oh god, wasn't one of them like Mick Fleetwood?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
The Antinians, they were great.
They were fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neat.
Yeah, though. Eck, what a prick.
Emk.
Emk.
Yeah. He reminded me of David Lynch's Baron Harkonnen.
Oh, yeah, he's got the
that's
boils
good.
and the puffy suit. You're right. I think that was on
There's-
purpose.
there's
Little
something-
bits of steam coming out of
Yeah.
it.
The collar was tickling my brain for something like that. There's some other sci-fi where they had that kind of collar design, where you could see the fishbowl ready to go on
Yeah.
and lock in.
Yeah.
There are probably a couple of science fictions.
Yeah, but no, you're right. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What a reprehensible little man. I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, capitalist to the end, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about his ship a couple weeks ago when we talked
did.
about all the Voyager ships. We looked at that Malon ship and we were trying to devise. Oh yeah, what's getting because it's a hauler of some kind. What's getting hauled? The answer was radioactive material.
Yeah, I think I posited liquid of some kind.
And
but...
it looked like a gross ship. So
did.
It
Did.
looked like it was leaking bullshit.
Yeah, it was farting constantly with green clouds.
Ditto.
Yeah, and I mean the interesting thing I guess about this show is that it is very unapologetically a commentary about environmentalism.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
this was like Captain Planet levels of subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But yeah, I just want to make sure we acknowledge that we're not just ignoring that fact. we did understand it.
Yeah.
Star Trek does this. Or I'm reminded of the speed limit episode of TNG.
Oh,
yeah.
except that was terrible.
Or the why do people want to do drugs?
Oh my god.
Well, you see, Timmy.
Makes you feel good. Oh, all right.
I'm gonna go do some drugs. Wait, no,
Yeah.
come back. I didn't finish.
Nancy Reagan made me say this stuff.
Ugh.
So originally, there was an idea to use this void space, and it would have a planet. And on this planet would be the alien equivalent of a King Tut's tomb kind of a thing.
Oh, no.
And all these half-dead flying creature
Oh,
things
for Christ's sake.
would fly out and attack the ship like locusts.
Why?
Oh Christ!
That sounds great.
I mean, wouldn't be Christ, I guess, if we're doing ancient Egyptian plagues.
Oh, Tut.
Oh,
Wow.
Anubis.
So glad that didn't happen.
Really?
Oh, hi. You back, are
Cat's
you
back.
back for more or to kill me?
Yes, yes,
That would be what was the guy? What was the fucking name? The one from the movie.
Emotep?
Emotep.
Oh.
Emotep.
Okay, then.
Our good buddy Admiral Vance is in that movie.
He
In
is.
The Mummy.
Oh, he's hot as fuck.
It is a pretty
sure
man.
is.
They gotta now that he's like back, they gotta get Brendan Fraser on a Star Trek.
Ooh, I'd totally tune into that.
Same.
Because I know Chris is going to want to talk about this. We get our first fucking views of Captain Proton.
Oh yes,
It's very, very silly because it's in black and
Oh
white.
my
which
God, that
they've,
is-
they've established the holodeck can't do black and white earlier, but now they can. Fuck
Wait, they
it.
did?
Wait, they did?
And there was some. I don't think it was in the show. I think there was an episode of Deep Space Nine that they said, or maybe TNG that they said should be in black and white, and then someone said holodeck wouldn't do black and white.
It's more advanced.
Why
now.
wouldn't the holodeck? Why not?
Well,
It's just
what,
light, yeah.
well, I can imagine it could do black and white, but how does it make
Them
Tom and
black and
Harry
white?
in
Yeah,
black and white?
it's a little weird, but
Lenses and light.
They just have a lot of makeup
Oh,
on.
no. Actually, wait a minute. So, when you go deep, there is a way, sort of, when you go deep enough underwater, you start losing colors. Like, if light is affected in a certain way. Like, I remember I was, 70 feet under in a submarine, and the color red went away. Like, you couldn't see. You could see other colors, but the color red wasn't getting through anymore.
I want to hear your submarine story, Kate.
Oh, I mean, it was some bullshit on a vacation.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, I didn't like it. To be
Damn
honest,
it.
I was claustrophobic. I'm not big on that. But
That's cool.
I do remember specifically that they were like, oh, and now here we are, 70 feet underwater or whatever, and you can't see the color red anymore. And I was like, holy shit.
I wonder if that's because just the water filters all that light.
Yeah, it's got to be something.
Yeah,
so
light
I guess.
filtration, it makes sense.
But I mean, if water can do that,
Yeah,
the starship can figure it out.
I would think that there would be a way, considering the entire holodeck is light.
Yeah. I also wonder if maybe it's just
water.
projecting a very thin layer on all of their skin and
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
that would have been my next guess.
If they can put Lily Sloan in that evening gown,
yeah.
that was clearly
They
just.
found the technology to do that.
But yeah, no, I love it. It's so
camp that
they
it's fun.
they really nail the bad 30s everything. The robots a joy.
I love when Seven disables
Yeah.
the robot.
I love
That
that.
was really funny.
I am Borg.
The robot is disabled. Can I go now?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I love that robot, though.
there's actually a particular
I want that costume.
character. They're kind of. I mean, obviously there's a lot of Flash Gordon in there, but his looks specifically. There's some kind of character with the leather jacket and jetpack combo thing that he's kind of got going on.
You mean besides the Rocketeer?
Yeah, no, there's an actual old
an
ass.
actual predecessor.
I think it's in my book, what the original Rocket Man.
Yeah, I can't think of the title right now, but Mystery Science Theater actually did some of the portions of it back in the day. The guy wore this terrible bullet-shaped helmet, so just giving Tom goggles was a better choice.
Perfect.
But yeah, I assume the Rocketeer also took a lot of inspiration from that guy. It was Captain something. Captain Meteor, maybe?
King of the Rocket Man. And its successors, Commando Cody, and later the Rocketeer.
Commander Cody, yes. That's who he was. But yeah, he had the same kind of thing going on.
I like his Rocketeer pack.
Yeah. I like that his phaser actually worked once she turned off the safety protocols, but it still had a goofy 1930s ring effect and not a
Oh, I didn't
classic
notice
beat.
that.
Yeah, it had
Oh,
this
shit.
cheesy old-timey effect.
Well, it just seemed kind of odd that Seven can just be like disable safety protocols, and it works immediately.
That's gotten to be such a thing. Like that was a recent gag in Lower Decks, where just like disable safety protocols, done, not even a thing.
Because I always figured it would be like you need like
Clearance.
command level clearance
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do that, because it's.
Maybe because they were clearly in some sort of crisis mode.
King Rockman is amazing. That's an amazing bullet helmet.
It's alright.
Oh,
That's
God.
amazing.
That's like.
But yeah, he's even got the like little control pack on his chest. I think Tom had the same one with like the big 3 buttons.
He looks like an early Cyberman mixed with
Kind of.
first round Iron Man.
But yeah, but clearly Emperor Chaotic or Dr. Chaotica there, which was a slightly deorientalized Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The robot was great though. Very just chunky, awful 30s thing. Guy in a suit.
Yeah, very
Without a
forbidden
sense
planet.
of aesthetics.
Noodle arms.
Mm-hmm. Yes, when she switched him off, the arms went whomp. You almost wish they put a cheesy accordion sound effect in, kind of.
Yes.
But things were too serious at that point.
Too serious for accordion arms? Never.
We will actually see, we already talked about, we will actually see the ship proper in a future episode.
I'm excited. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
there's
for a
like,
second I was like, oh, am I joining them for this episode? Oh, I'm not. Okay.
Let's have to come back.
yeah, but of all the holodeck stuff they've introduced, this is up there is just too good. For once, Tom's obnoxious 20th century obsession comes in handy.
Yes.
I have a question. Why does the Doctor even need a proper holodeck to do what he wants to do?
Apparently, when he's turned off, he's aware. We found out last episode,
Yeah, in
which
a
is
void.
fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
the worst.
Who
horrifying.
programmed? Well, we know who programmed that. What is wrong with Zimmerman?
Lots.
But also, in which episode was it? Living Witness.
He said he has no. Yeah,
There's no passage of time for him.
Yeah, complete contradiction.
That
So
was
they
also a
can't both-
backup.
they can't
That
both be
music.
Oh, that's true. That was a
Yeah,
backup.
so maybe on
You're
the
right,
backup
you're right.
unit he's not running, but in Voyager he does.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but like, why would you do that? Why would you program it to be aware if you weren't gonna let it?
That's like some Black Mirror shit.
Seriously.
Maybe that's just like I don't know.
There was something Chakotay says when he's trying to get Janeway to stop being a mope. And he says, I've been scrimping and saving all my holodeck time. I've almost got 3 hours. And I'm like, holy shit, how do you have so little holodeck time? It seems like Tom uses 3 hours a day.
I would imagine.
Tom just makes Harry give him his time.
Yeah, he probably.
That's why they're
does.
always there
do it.
together. They pool it.
Oh, that
It's like
makes sense.
lunch money.
Although many episodes ago, early episode, I think, wasn't Tom like doing some kind of gambling on the side for people's holodeck time or something?
Yeah.
Was it holodeck time
Or- no,
or
it was
replicator
replicator
rations?
rations.
Replicator rations.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but
now
I bet
it's
you could.
holodeck
I bet you could trade replicator rations for holodeck time.
It also could be that you get less per now since they're in the void and energy's at a premium.
Well, yeah. Plus, there's like 140 people and 2 holodecks.
But
I mean,
the
everybody's
holodeck-
going to get some time.
The holodeck's on a different energy grid.
But
Yeah.
also,
Still
Chakotay.
using energy though.
Chakotay is definitely the kind of person who would give up a lot of his holodeck time and
Oh, that's
he would
true.
voluntarily be
That's
like,
true.
all right, I will accumulate mine slower so that everybody else accumulates theirs quicker.
Well, especially because he's got sweet space drugs in his quarters. So he can just get space high anytime.
That or alternately, he actually was using a lot of it and originally just to build endless hollow tubs.
It's important to keep up your practice. you
Program
know?
Chakotay 01, and it's just so many tubs.
Tubs all the way down.
Just stacked. It's like fucking Wally's trash towers, but it's tubs all the way up.
Tuborama.
Except it's Chakotay.
Oh, we also got a Chakotay Tuvok scene, and they bring up, like, the two of us don't have scenes an awful lot, do we? And I'm like, oh my god, no, you guys don't.
We're gonna, again, pretend we don't like each other, I guess?
We really don't like each other, remember?
I guess that's how the writers are retroactively justifying why we don't have a lot of scenes together.
I mean, I could sort of understand, Tuvok did kind of
Well,
spy on him for a long
here's the
time.
thing. I
Yeah.
can totally get them not getting along, but the show's very inconsistent with it.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's
it
like
doesn't show
every so often there's like, we still don't like each other much, I guess?
Yeah,
The
no,
script tells us so.
Yeah, like, that thing, it's a thing that I feel like would totally been a great thing to explore, but they don't really explore it. It's just every so often it's like, we're gonna look sideways at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the show completely abandoned any semblance that there's going to be conflict between the Maquis and Starfleet crew
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Except
so.
Seska.
Except
Yeah.
We
Seska.
all love Seska.
Yeah.
Seska can be awful, but everybody else is friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like the. Guys, I think I ship Chakotay and Janeway, which is a thing I don't say. I don't.
There are very
actively
few
ship.
of you.
Doors over there.
I don't know, but the thing is, it's like a half ship. It's like barely floating because I think part of it is like, but it would also be satisfying to see it be one sided and see that addressed.
Is it
I think they just have good chemistry.
Is it a full ship, or you just want them to kind of fuck already and break the tension and never do it again?
I don't think I want them to. I don't think I actively want them to specifically fuck.
Okay.
I just feel like Chakotay really wants Janeway to take care of herself, and he doesn't do
He's
it
real soft on
he
her,
doesn't
yeah.
do it in an overbearing way. He's
'Cause
just
he's
like,
Chakotay.
listen, you're
Yeah.
gonna come out with me, and we're gonna have a good time, whether you like it or not. I'm not gonna take no for an answer. Come on, Grumpy.
And I think it's mainly Chakotay's the way Robert Beltran plays it. He just. I feel like he's always there's always a twinkle of admiration when he's looking at Janeway. I think that's what does it.
Yeah, he cares.
Because I feel like Janeway would just be like, well, that sounds nice, but no.
he was probably
I must punish myself.
You said this, Caitlin. He was the best one to find Neelix having his crisis.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Because he would never, you feel like Paris would be like, yeah, I found Neelix sobbing like a baby. And
Anyway, I'm
Neelix
gonna
would be
go work on a car.
I hate
Tuvok would just walk
everything.
by him.
Yeah.
I have more important things to do
Well,
right
okay.
now.
What you have to do is suppress this. Oh.
What he would do is just this is a crisis situation. I must cut to the chase. He just neck pinches him and drags him to the fucking...
Yeah.
Drops him on a bio bed. He is your problem now. And walks off.
That sounds right.
Harry would just fidget because he would want to do something but wouldn't know what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harry would have a bigger panic attack in response.
You'd be like, this is more
Oh, poor
confusing
Harry.
than my boners for 7. I'm gonna go. But yeah, Chakotay, he finds him, he helps him up. He's like, come on, buddy, it's okay. I don't know.
I feel like-
I like Chakotay.
I feel like-
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're using him effectively. Just like I don't think they've ever written Janeway consistently, aside from her desire to blow the fucking ship up.
She loves that.
Chakotay is definitely one of the more consistently written people, just because he always seems to give a fuck.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
thing with Chakotay, because a lot of people say they do Chakotay pretty dirty because he doesn't get to be much of a character. I think it's that his character has such a more gentle.
He's a
nuance.
soft touch.
He's a
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
He's supportive to everyone around him. Which
He is a
makes
consistent
him more passive.
but subtle
He's
character.
He's the
Yeah.
support, B'Elanna's a tank, Tom's the DPS.
Oh, and also, I said this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I
Good,
was
good.
talking to friend of the podcast, Sam, and I was saying, speaking of people that should bang, I don't actually believe that there's any way that Tom Paris could be getting fucked Klingon style and not be beating the shit out of, because he, we always see them together, nary a scratch. I just don't buy it.
Maybe B'Elanna doesn't do the whole...
Yeah,
she
B'Elanna's
doesn't
not
go full
Worf.
Klingon.
She's half... Well, one, she's half Klingon, and two, she seems really uncomfortable with her Klingon heritage.
she's I mean she barely knows any Klingon. She doesn't seem to have that much of a connection with
So
it.
maybe she doesn't, let herself get into it as much.
Now she is Latina, so he should be a little bit bruised.
That's what I mean. Listen, from your
Just
mouth
an-
to God's
Just
ears.
so we're clear, listeners, in case you've missed episodes where Liz has mentioned it before, she's Latina. She can say that. The rest
Wow,
of us
thanks for
can't.
singling me out, Chris.
Well, I just need to keep us from getting angry letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those letters that we get.
Look, with our luck, this would be the one episode that blows up for some reason. And we have the goddamn Anti-Defamation League on our backs.
So anyway, about the Mexicans. No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Side note, I find Chakotay actually kind of attractive. He's grown on me in a big way since
Oh,
the
no,
start of
really?
this
He's
series.
handsome.
He's got very
It's
pretty
very
eyes.
upsetting. I enjoy him very
Something
much.
about that tender demeanor.
Yeah.
His tattoo is particularly dark this week. They've really got to get more consistent with that.
Well, it's night.
I
touche.
bet he's a very generous lover.
I mean, tattoos do fade over
He
time,
makes
so
me
maybe he has to keep getting it
Oh, maybe got to touch
Yeah.
it up. You know what?
Reapply.
He might have touched it up. That's true. That is a thing. And it-
Maybe he's just extra moisturized this
Maybe
week.
it's not a tattoo. Maybe it's just henna that he has to do every week.
it's his dark secret. No one can know.
Some days it's his not so dark secret. It's
There's the joke.
getting lighter.
He's actually got that, like, rave club UV ink in there, too. So, like,
Ooh,
when they hit
that'd be
black light, it
cool.
just really pops.
That'd be great if, like, when the power went out, like, only his tattoo was glowing.
like a cartoon where all you can see are the floating eyes. You just see
Yeah.
his floating tattoo.
But yeah, I don't know. Just on the broader topic of Chakotay,
Yes.
I feel like he does not have, throughout the show, he doesn't have any arc. He's just him the whole time. And I feel like that's where they kind of do a disservis. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like how we always say, like, we can't picture him in the Maquis.
Yeah,
No.
because he's just like he has lots of integrity. That's what
So
we know
much.
about him. He's got a lot of integrity. Wants to do the right thing, and that's
Like
and
in my
that's- and
fanfic
that's Chakotay.
story.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Maybe that's what it is. He joined the Maquis because of his integrity. Immediately realized it was a bad fit. But damn it, he'd made a promise to these people.
Yes.
So I guess now I gotta work here.
So this is what happens when you start with a premise of a character of this character's whole thing is that he's this ethnicity, and then anything about him is going to be that ethnicity, and then the moment your consultant turns out to be bullshit, and you have to abandon that aspect of any story arcs. I mean, you don't actually have to abandon that in the first place because you could have just gotten a real consultant after that.
Yeah.
But even then, maybe you should sit and look at what you've done and be like, well, maybe I should find other things about this character because he's a human being.
I am, oh god, imagine being the poor bastard, if they'd gotten a proper consultant. The poor bastard sitting there is like, alright, how do I fix all of this?
Yeah.
A coochie what now? God damn it.
Abracadabra.
a charcuterie board or whatever it is that people they don't want to say charcuterie.
That's what he's trying to say.
Kitty what?
That's been a meme on the internet of like people not being able to pronounce charcuterie, so it becomes like shark coochie board or something like
Can
that.
somebody please do a shitposting meme with doing that meme with Chakotay?
No, that feels racist.
But a coochie moy is just a made up. Didn't we
It's
determine
already
that-
racist.
Yeah, it's racist to begin with.
Doubling down on your racism doesn't remove the racism.
You're just getting into hipster racism at that point, honestly.
Fair point.
Because the people who the racism was originally about are just still sitting there like we're so.
Alright, there's
Why are
gotta
we
be
doing
some
this?
kind
What
of
is
made
happening?
up Star Trek word that sounds enough like charcuterie that we can do this, though.
Oh, for sure.
Kapla.
Yeah, something in Klingon for sure.
Mm.
Chapak.
Mm.
A couple of minor final notes. So Janeway's moping all episode until there's aliens to shoot with guns, and then all of a sudden she swoops in out of freaking nowhere.
Yeah.
How
with
did
a
she
giant
even hear
rifle.
about it?
Get out of the way, gentlemen.
I mean,
She
she
sensed.
just, the lights went off, she knew something was up, and she was like, fucking yes, I can distract myself from my sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that really snapped her out of her funk pretty damn quick.
It did.
Because it didn't come up again.
No.
I was just so excited to fuck something up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were just gonna say she was just so excited to fuck, and I was like, whoa.
It was so funny because like the lights went out, so she like got her jacket on, grabbed a gun. Lights went out. Chakotay apparently started to undress because he was just in his undershirt like she'd been earlier.
Was he getting ready to meet some new
I think
aliens?
that's what it was. He's like,
he's getting ready.
this
Well,
might-
I gotta get my dick out. We've never met these people before.
This might be a
First
first
contact
contact.
procedure.
Zip.
Favorite running gag. Oh, speaking of, Cat is grooming his crotch.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Facing directly toward Caitlin.
I think he's hazing me right now. Oh God, he's gonna any second. He's gonna.
I can't.
This has been both wonderful and terrifying.
Eating
Like,
your own ass. It's horrible.
stop eating your own ass. No, he's fine. He's fine.
Is he though?
No, I mean, but it's
He
fine.
can do it somewhere else, is the thing.
He's very present today.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. He just likes how I smell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's that Bed and Body, Bed Bath and Beyond. What was Bath and Body Works? I don't know.
I think that's what I said it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bath and Body Works.
What else does anyone else have to say about Night?
Um,
Good night.
I think Neelix is becoming the O'Brien of the series, and I'm here for it.
That he gets tortured.
He's
more
constant
than
trauma.
Kim.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, Kim gets it a lot
interesting.
too, though.
Like Kim didn't have a fucking anxious panic attack.
And as Chris pointed out to me, Neelix is hyperventilating on one lung.
So it's probably
Yeah.
even worse.
It's got to
That's a
be
good
especially bad.
Why haven't they made him another lung yet?
Oh,
But yeah.
Because now he's got like a little zip pouch so he can like store stuff in
That's where he keeps the onions.
Yeah, that's right.
Plomy.
The lung of holding.
But yeah, no, good episode, I thought, overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was into it. I like the look. I like the darkness.
Again, I appreciated, like, again, whether they meant it or not, it felt like it followed on thematically from the end of the last season without it being an actual literal two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Janeway's sassy retort. Time to take out the garbage.
Oh God.
It's groan-inducing, but also perfect. And I was like, no, you can have that one. Good for you, Janeway. You found a great line.
I mean, she pulled a James Bond. She,
I was about to say, it was all
murdered
James
and
Bond
quipped. Oh, I think she quipped and murdered. Either way, though.
Murder, yeah.
It's like, you know what? You've
murdering.
been feeling shitty for 2 months. You take
You
this.
That's how you
Murder
know
what
she's
you want.
feeling better. She's got some wordplay.
Have a little murder and quip as a treat.
As a treat.
A little General Order 24.
Well, our treat this week, they found the segue.
Oh.
We've also got a treat because as we've just wrapped up season 4,
Ooh.
we wrap up our seasons by looking back and doing a little season wrap up and picking out our top and bottom 3s from the season. Season 4, interesting season. I thought there was a lot of good stuff this season.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was a pretty strong season.
Yeah, strong season. I think usually we've been starting with tops. Because I'm a cruel overlord. So, who wants to start with their tops?
I'll go.
Go, do it.
Do it.
So, mine are from...
Third to work first.
Yes.
Okay.
Message in a Bottle. Good times with the EMH and Andy Dick being not insufferable. Or just the right amount of insufferable.
Yeah, appropriately insufferable.
Yep. Living Witness.
Word.
Voyager does the Mirror Universe without the Mirror Universe. And Mortal Coil.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to say Mortal Coil, Chris. I really like Mortal Coil.
Poor old Neelix having a bad one. Chakotay trying to help him. Much better discussion of faith versus science than that awful, what was it called?
Sacred Ground.
Yeah, way better than that.
Is that the one where, like, Janeway was talking to...
George's mom, yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Costanza.
Yeah. That was a
That
terrible
was
episode.
shit. This is way better.
Yeah, I'm glad you wrote that one up. That one ended up on my just off the list. And I was like, someone's going to bring up Mortal Coil, so I feel okay.
Okay, because you're still using mathematics, right? To have your...
Well, I grade them.
That's what I
These are
mean,
the
but you're still doing
mathematically
them.
correct
Well,
worst episodes.
I grade them I use my mathematics, and then I just apply a curve based on what ones I actually want to talk about.
Oh, okay,
There we
fair
go.
enough.
Speaking of, I'll tell you what they are right now.
Sure.
Let's see, let's start... Yes, the calculating device has spat out this piece of paper. Number 3! 1! So 3 is 1. I really like 1. I like seeing 7 coming to terms with being alone on the ship. I like the idea of sticking everybody in cryo for a little while as a way to get through things, and then realizing there's a reason we don't do this the whole way because it doesn't go well. Good for 7. I thought she did a great job with that. Number 2, Living Witness, fucking excellent. Like, just good look at fucking evil Voyager, which is fun, but also at how we remember history and how it's fucking flawed. Love that. And my best of the season, I'm going to combine them into one because I think it's all one episode, Year of Hell.
Oh, yeah. We always do two-parters as one, usually.
Yeah.
Not all.
Unless
When it's a season break one, we don't.
Unless
but-
it's Mark Twain.
Oh, God, yeah.
There was a season break one, though.
I believe part 1 made my top list, and then part 2 made my bottom list for the next season.
And we've been teasing you about it ever since.
But when it's a mid-season...
They didn't, Chris, but okay.
Oh, I thought... But when it's a mid-season two-parter, we tend to treat it as one.
Not always. I feel like... Well, there's been a couple of Deep Space Nine ones.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine complicates things.
Because those weren't really two-parters.
Yeah, that was serialized.
Who else?
Oh, I mean, I'm right next to you, so I can go.
Do it.
In no particular order, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
1.
Yay!
Because I really liked it. I liked seeing Jerry Ryan, actually get to do an act. Really do some really good acting.
Oh, yeah. You're going to see lots more of her, too.
And I don't know if it's possible for me to see much more of her aims, but... I also chose Mortal Coil.
Good choice.
And I also chose Living Witness.
Also good
I
choice.
really, really liked Living Witness. It felt very prescient, which is probably unfortunate, but it's still super relevant. And I liked it.
I'm still shuffling some around.
All right. Jake, you want to go while Liz is shuffling?
Sure. All right, so mine in no particular order are Year of Hell,
Woo!
Living Shitless, and Hope and Fear.
Oh, good choice.
She likes that one.
Oh, so a sweep of Living Witness amongst your regulars.
Let me continue that sweep.
Yeah!
Since
Sweep it.
that's all right. That's what's shoveled in. That's shuffled in. So with the disclaimer that shit's been fucked up in my life. So I'm behind. I have not seen Demon or One. So
Go back and watch both. They're all quite good.
Yeah, and I'm most of the way through Living Witness, but I'm enough of the way through that it made it to my list.
Frankly, you can skip Demon, but you should definitely watch One.
I'm gonna watch
skip
I'm
Demon.
gonna watch
It's
them.
gonna come up again in the
Because I need to watch them so I can listen to you guys.
It's true.
Yeah, our synopses actually kind of suck.
Faithful
Our
listener.
synopses are bad. It's true.
But yeah, okay. So I mean, I'm going to say no particular order because I'm shuffling everything. I have Living Witness, Hunters, and Mortal Coil, and I mainly liked Hunters because of just the human drama of the letters.
Yeah, I love the letters scene. That's a good point.
Was that was Hunters the introduction of the Hirogen?
The Hirogen, while also they were getting the letters from the Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah.
And just like,
Yeah, and each person had a different reaction to their letters, and
And
Janeway got broken up with.
I loved that. I fucking loved it.
Was that also when they were hunting the 642096?
No, that's Prey.
Oh, that's
right.
Prey.
That's
You're
the
right.
next one.
I made that
one had
mistake
Tony
earlier
Todd
when we
in
were
it.
talking about this. Yeah,
And
you're
I
right.
love Tony Todd, so like if
Tony Todd.
it's great.
He's so good.
Honorable mentions for Year of Hell and The Killing Game, actually.
Which one was
we
the
like
killing?
the Killing
The Nazis.
Game.
The
Video
Oh,
game.
there's
Two-part
Nazis.
Nazis.
Oh, right. Two-part
Nazi two-parter.
Nazis. Right.
Because I liked the parallels they were drawing with. I mean, one, like the parallels they were drawing with the Hirogen themselves, and then the fact that the anti-second in command still didn't get it when it was being said right at him. Like it didn't click, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to double down on this bad decision."
Yay.
And then it all just went to hell, and then suddenly there are Klingons attacking Nazis, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So honorable mention.
Coolies. Yeah, I thought very strong season. I had a whole lot in the higher ranks of my rankings.
Yeah, I had trouble. Like, even the episodes that are my bottom three, like, I'm like, I can still find good things about them.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the bottom threes.
Yeah, I had trouble coming up with 3 that I actively like. I very easily found 2 that I was like, fuck both of these forever.
I wonder if they're the same 2 that I...
Finding a third was really hard.
Yep.
Like, there were some that I
Yeah.
kind of was like, oh yeah, that one was fine, but inoffensive. So, like, honestly, my number 3 could have been almost any of those.
Yeah.
So rather than go with sort of the most meh, I think I went with the one that I was sort of the most disappointed by.
Good.
And that I felt like it just didn't achieve all it could have with its premise.
Underachiever.
Yeah, so that's the
Like
caveat
Tom.
here. Like, this is not an awful episode. It's just like a...
We're just disappointed in it.
I was hoping for more. Like, it's still one I might watch again someday just for shits,
I seriously can't figure out what one you're talking
I
about.
want to know.
But the other 2 are like, I will probably never watch these again. So number 3, The Killing Game.
What?
Interesting.
Wow.
I was underwhelmed. I really think it needed a second pass.
Okay.
I heartily disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I just feel like the whole...
More Nazis.
The Alpha's idea wasn't presented until the second episode, I think, or very late in the first one.
I don't remember.
I just feel like they didn't lean on that enough, and the conflict it created within his own people enough. And as I said when we talked about it, I think they spent too much time on the setup and should have cut to the chase a little faster.
Fair.
And one thing I meant to mention before, just a little honorable mention to Vis-a-Vis.
As a dishonorable mention?
Neither, because in the episode, I said, I am going to have forgotten this episode by the time we get to our rankings. Like, I will go through the list and go, what the fuck? Oh, that one. So it won't make my bottom because it will be completely forgettable. I was wrong.
Oh, wow.
I had forgotten the episode by the time I got to the edit. Like, it was like, today's episodes are blah and vis-a-vis. I was like, what the fuck was vis-a-vis? Oh, that one! So I forgot it very fast.
Amazing.
So the actual bad episodes concerning flight.
Oh, wow. Only number 2 bad?
Well,
Shocking.
because here's the thing. That was terrible. Like, didn't you say it was like 2 scripts were kind of mashed together and the writers never quite agreed on what should have happened or something?
I don't even remember anymore.
Either way, it was fucking awful. None of it made sense.
No, none of it made sense.
What was that guy's deal with letting Da Vinci do all this stuff unless it was a tech demo, but they never explained? So bad. The sunlight, Go back, listen to our episode, Tom. It was fucking bad. It was bad. But not as bad as the deeply uncomfortable retrospect. Mm-hmm. As I said at the time, not the platform for something that needed way more subtlety, nuance, adult conversation, like... wow. Just...
yeah.
unpleasant to watch the whole time. Will never watch again. So bad. So bad.
Cool. Moving on from there. Let me go off of what Chris just said. Number 3 bad on my list. Retrospect. Hey, shocking. But that one is mostly because, granted, yes, the uncomfortable weird shit and the assault and all that stuff, very uncomfortable. What I'm going to pile onto that is the fucking pseudoscience that the doctor seems to think is legit.
Yeah.
And he's like, 7, let's go into hypnosis for reasons.
Yeah, I forgot about that
Damn
somehow.
it. No, please stop.
I'm like trying to already make myself forget the episode existed. I needed to do what Vis-a-Vis did.
But not an unforgettable.
What was my next one? Oh, my next one is unforgettable. Hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Unforgettable just because I thought it was just such missed opportunities to do more interesting things.
Totally fair.
Like, I wanted to see this relationship bud between Chakotay and his lady friend. I wanted to see more of what this, means to, like, their brains and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just felt so superficial that I was bored.
Fair. Totally fair.
And
I just kept getting distracted that it was Virginia Madsen.
Oh, yeah. And number 1 baddie, I'm going to agree, is Concerning Flight, an episode I am entirely confounded by, except for the fact that all they seemed to want was an episode where Leonardo da Vinci runs around in a plane. Mm-hmm. That's all it was, and it was very dumb.
There had to have been a better way to get that.
Is there? Does it have to happen at all?
Well, no, but if they wanted it, they could have tried harder.
What do you think, Caitlin?
My bottom 3 are Demon, because it's disappointing. Retrospect, because it's terrible. And Concerning Flight, because it's the fucking worst.
There we go.
Yeah, I had a similar issue to Chris with just having a couple episodes that I really disliked and then a bunch that I'm just like, were middling.
Yeah.
And it took me a bit to suss out. So I actually had I had 6 on my list.
Wow.
But I'm going to narrow it down right now and make a call and say that my bottom 3 are Retrospect, Concerning Flight, and Vis-a-Vis.
Oh, good. I'm glad Vis-a-Vis on the list.
I like that there's the issue, the common 2, and then we've all kind of got our wild card, like, I guess this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the record, the other 3 on my list were, interestingly, not on... Well, one of them was on Caitlin's list, but not on anybody else's list. Waking Moments, Nemesis, and Demon.
Oh, Waking Moments was the sleep one.
That was the sleep one.
Sleep.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
That was pretty goofy.
And, like, Nemesis was like... I was like, I didn't dislike this one, but that one, again, felt like another missed opportunity.
I think Nemesis was, like, in the running for my top,
It
but I
wasn't
don't know
a
if I
bad
remember
episode.
it that
It
well.
was just like... I don't know, it was hard for me because I was like, oh, this could have been so much cooler.
I've got to admit, also part of the reason I think a Killing Game made it for me over, say, Prey, which I kind of wasn't fond of, was because I couldn't bring myself to put a Tony Todd episode in
Yeah.
the bottom.
Tony Todd automatically takes it up.
He
a level.
elevates it.
Yeah, he honestly kind of skewed the average. Like, I can't do that.
We didn't get Liz's bottom 3.
No, I know. I just wanted to throw that in.
We're going to get it now.
So I also have Concerning Flight. Because I never like when you have hologram shit going, let's just take the hologram out on an adventure. No, we don't need to do that. No. No, thank you. And I don't want it to be Da Vinci, even though I love
John Rhys Davies.
Yes, I wasn't sure. I was like Rhys Davies. Rhys Davies is the other guy.
I called him Brian Blessed at one point, which is completely wrong.
Oh, goodness. Retrospect, because the moment I realized, like, oh, this is going to be an allegory of a woman accusing a man, and it's not going to be handled well because it's a very man-run show. And it wasn't handled in any kind of, like, it was better than I expected, but still, I have Nemesis on my bottom 3. Because
Tell us more.
I just like their newspeak. Their
Oh, see, I loved the newspeak. I feel the only thing is I loved it so much that it's like, why doesn't this exist all the time?
Yeah,
and that's why it seemed
it was
weird.
jarring. For me, it was jarring and clumsy because it was so completely out of left field for like I guess, for the series. Like, it just, that sort of thing never happens. And
Oh,
when you have
yeah, that annoyed me at the time, too.
all the way that they talk, I'm like, it feels like they're trying to Mad Max it, and it doesn't quite work for me. And just, I don't know, some of the acting, with the way that they handle that dialogue, it just, they struggled. And then I had my dishonorable mention that got bumped down at some point was, when you mentioned Retrospect was like, oh, that needed to go on. Waking Moments got bumped down to my dishonorable mention.
For some reason, early when you mentioned Nemesis, I was thinking I confused it with the one with the evil hologram.
Oh, Revulsion.
Yeah.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, I know. That's what
I
I was
consider
kind of.
that for top
I was
three.
kind of
Revulsion
surprised.
was my
I was like,
honorable
oh, I
mention.
thought it was okay.
That was a great episode. Yeah, no. Nemesis was Chakotay in the soldiers.
That one.
That's like top 5 for me.
I don't think I hated it.
I didn't hate it, but yeah, I don't know.
The language was annoying.
I think Liz summed up a lot of my complaints.
Yeah, but overall, it was an interesting idea. Maybe it could have been a little bit better, but you know.
I also have one additional one that it was neither honorable mention nor dishonorable mention. I just have it under
It was
mention.
just mentioned.
Yeah.
Want to mention.
And that's
like my vis-a-vis.
Yeah, exactly. And for mine is Message in a Bottle, because I really like the story. I really like the episode, like, as a creative piece. I really hate Andy Dick. I hate, and it's not just him as a person.
It's the opposite of Tony Todd.
Yeah, he dragged it down for me because, like, his performance wasn't even worth it to me. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, I don't like watching you. You're not a pleasure to watch right now.
This could have been any annoying.
Literally
90s
anyone
kid.
else.
It could have been Carrot Top.
Oh my god.
I probably would have liked it better than Andy Dick.
I kind of want to see that.
I just imagine if, like, Carrot Top had been there, there would just be literally hours of outtakes of him fucking with the props. And it'd be, Carrot, could you please just...
Excuse me, Mr. Top.
Mr. Top. Actually, it's like a Bajoran. His surname comes first, so it's actually properly Mr. Carrot.
It's like, it was almost like, you know, how Newt kept fucking up scenes to play with the slide.
Oh,
they had to be
aliens.
look, Carrot, please, just, if you do the scene, we will let you take home a tricorder to use as a puppet, for Christ's sakes.
Oh God, is that all it takes?
Mr. Tricorder already did it.
I know, but it's not going to stop Mr. Carrot. He invented prop comedy. Didn't you know?
I think Gallagher was there first.
I actually wonder who invented... Anyway.
I'm sure there's...
Someone
it goes way back to vaudeville, I'm sure.
In a way, really, even slapstick, in a sense, is probably a variant on prop comedy.
Or arguably the Greeks, because they had strap-ons for their satyr plays.
True.
Yeah.
Big fucking dicks.
Yeah, everybody.
Speaking of big fucking dicks, we'll be back next week. That's us. We out. So speaking of next week, it's been great wrapping up season 4 with y'all. We got more season 5 next week. Holy cow. The episodes we'll be discussing. Jesus Christ, Jake is throwing things.
I don't know that episode.
It's my favorite. It's going to be tops of season 5. What happened, Jake?
I was
He threw his glasses across the room.
and then I threw my glasses
What
on
do
the
we
floor.
get when we goof, Jake?
We get our glasses
We
thrown
make
on the
an
floor.
ass out of you and you.
Especially Jake. Anyway, episodes next week are going to be Drone and Extreme Risk, so join us for that. We'll be back on SoundCloud, Google, Apple, all the different podcast places. We're there.
Wherever the hell you are now.
Yeah, you can also read up all of these episodes from our tops and bottom lists are going to be up on our Tumblr, sshbpodcast.com. You can see them all there. You can add your own. I don't give a shit. You can also hang out with us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on MySpace. I don't know why. I've stopped updating it years ago.
It's not a useful platform.
Wait,
But
are
those
we
are our
actually
top
on
8.
MySpace?
I made us a MySpace page I've been threatening to do for ages, but I don't know what you're supposed to do with it, so I did nothing beyond make it.
You're supposed to be friends with Tom.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't think he's on there anymore since he sold it.
Oh, he did
Oh
sell it.
no,
That's right.
Tom.
Then there's nothing to it.
Yeah,
Where
There's
can
no
we be
joy.
friends with Tom?
Twitter.
Good. All right.
Twitter.
Yeah, you can
Well,
also
we're
be
going to
friends
leave
with
there
us.
because Elon's going to be the...
Maybe.
Boss
I don't
man.
know. He'll probably back out again.
Yikes. So, find out if Elon enjoys Twitter or, hang out with us. We're much better. We'll be back next week. Again, this has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
Oh, and Liz. And thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, Liz.
Thanks for coming.
But it's time to take out the garbage. Y'all gotta leave.
Oh.